Hello everyone, welcome along to the National Hockey Centre here in Glasgow for the EuroHockey Championship 2. And we have a big game between Scotland and Russia in the second semi-final. It has been a busy day already. Switzerland defeating Portugal 4-2 this morning to make sure Switzerland had a chance, or have a chance tomorrow, to get themselves out of danger of relegation. Ukraine and Czech Republic drew, so they have to do a bit of work to stay in the second tier. The big news in the last couple of hours has been Wales have got themselves a second successive promotion with a 4-3 win against France, the top seeds in this second tier. Wales are in a group with the likes of England and Ireland and the Netherlands in a couple of years' time. Scotland or Russia are looking to get there themselves. So how did Scotland and Russia get here? Well, Scotland topped Pool A ahead of France, so they had 9 points out of 9. They were in a spot of bother against Ukraine, but two late goals, Alan Forsyth, rescued them, so top of the pool they were. As for Russia, they were runners-up to Wales, which was a bit of a surprise. Russia were with France the top tier in 2015. And that is how that looks. Wales are top of the pile, and that's how they have gotten on, and of course beat France. This is just a little look at what's been going on. Of course, we mentioned about the game with like Switzerland and Ukraine and Czech Republic. This is the crossovers. So Ukraine and Czech Republic had 3 points from their wins in the main group phase. That carried over. They drew, so they're on 4 points. Switzerland have 3 points, and they have a chance tomorrow. In the last game, Portugal are relegated. So then, let's focus on today's game. And Scotland first up. Well, Chris Grasick is the captain and is the real glue of this side, and great to see him after a long-term injury which kept him out for last year. In there includes Alan Forsyth, who just mentioned scored a penalty stroke and a penalty corner to defeat Ukraine. Kenny Bain will be looking to add to the goals. Lee Morton has had a sensational EuroHockey Championship too, with some great runs and goals. Well, for Russia, Australian head coach in Scott Barker, Yaroslav Loganov is the captain. One or two players to pick out include Mairat Kairulan, a talented player, 23 years of age. It'll be his 16th cap today. He can score a decent goal or two. Konstantin Nikitin will be someone to look out for from penalty corners. Marat Gafilov has had some very good saves throughout the competition. The officials for this one: Maxim Pereplitsia of Ukraine and Eduardo Lasagna of Spain. There's a fantastic crowd in here at the Hockey Centre in Glasgow, and everyone lining themselves up on the field. Time for the national anthems, and we'll start off with the Russian anthem. big roar from the crowd here in Glasgow. And thank you for joining us if you're joining us on the BBC Sport website. Alongside myself, Callum Patterson, in the commentary box is Alan Meikle, player for Hillhead Hockey Club. Alan, great to have you here. Big day. Wales have caused a huge surprise. For British fans and Scottish fans, it could be a big moment if Scotland could get themselves up into the top table alongside England and Wales and Ireland, who are in there as well for the British and Irish Isles. Russia came down from the second tier, looking to get back up. What do you expect from this?
Yeah, terrific opportunity for Scotland, as you say. They've played well throughout the tournament, 3 wins out of 3. So going in, they've got the form. Russia looked to be a very organised outfit, so probably the biggest challenge of the tournament so far. But as you say, everything to play for. Top 8 teams in Europe, that would be a magnificent achievement for Scotland.
And just a quick word before we get going about Wales. Incredible stuff. France were the top seeds, came down with Russia. Wales to pull off the win that they have, 32nd in the world ranking. They've had a great 12 months though. How big is that for Welsh hockey?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. Looking at their record in the last couple of years, they've made huge progress. And their low world ranking definitely has been a bit of a foil in terms of the form they have produced at Glasgow Green this weekend. They should be proud of the efforts so far.
Russia in the red today. Scotland with their last minute huddle. 60 minutes separates one of these two sides from promotion to EuroHockey Championship 1. And that's an important part of the game. Ready to get started. And remember, to give you the rules if you're not familiar, that if there is a draw after 60 minutes, then we will have a rolling running shootout. Big noise, big cheers, big anticipations, big expectations for both sides. Now it's the countdown.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Scotland get us underway in the second semi-final of the day, going from left to right in the usual blue and white. Early possession for Jamie Wong, who's quietly got on with his business and played well this week. Atkins trying to take things on quickly. Wong though picking it back up. Morton just skips by him. Thumped up Wong, looking to try and find Pavel Plzetzky for Russia, and he kept it in play and had support behind. Poskarikov. Hammered by Mayarov. Into the circle it goes. Plzetzky was trying to wheel away with it, but Scotland get away with it. Here's our first taste of the ball for Kenny Bain. And now Morton. Can see already trying to make one of those roving runs down the channel.
Yeah, Scotland will be well advised to make sure they get plenty of Lee Morton on the ball after his exciting forays in the previous matches. Quite a frenetic start by both teams, which is good. Good sign for the crowd. Both teams intent on attacking.
Tim Atkins has the free hit for Scotland. Wong. Marshall. On for Scythe. Ducked by the baseline.
Maybe a wee bit forced it there, looked a wee bit premeditated off the back line there, but give the umpire and the player the benefit of the doubt.
One was trying to search for Scythe. It was cut out by Zamalutinov.
Yeah, good positioning by the number 8 there.
Cap 45 for Zamalutinov today. Golubev. Poskarikov. Marshall got in the way.
Good tackle there by Poskarikov. Looks like it'll be a bit of a live wire in the midfield there, covering a lot of ground early on. Scotland sitting quite deep, almost at a half court, with just Kenny Bain sitting up high, so quite a coy start by Forsyth's men.
there's a real sense that both sides here have been a bit scratchy at times. Scotland had a great result against France, but it was a little bit back against the wall, some good keeping. But Russia narrowly defeated Switzerland, who have had good flashes, the Swiss, but not maybe got what they wanted. But 3-2 win. Then they drew against the Czech Republic, which put them under a bit of pressure. But they went on to just about do enough.
I think these big nations know that tournament hockey, it's all about getting the result when it really matters, and I think we'll see that today. Although Scotland have built a fantastic foundation throughout the week with really, really strong defence, particularly at penalty corners.
Yeah, the Russians against Wales, they were 2-0 down, and maybe that comeback they had against Wales in the final group game might give them a bit of momentum here. But they're missing a few players, Russia, but they still got a strong side. As mentioned, one or two top likes of Kai Rulin. And now here is Grasic for Scotland, one of the two GB players along with Alan Forsyth.
Just a moment of panic there for the Russian defence, just coming off the keeper for a long corner. That could have fallen to a striker. Thankfully for the Russians it did not.
Marshall. And it goes from Byers, certainly tried to edge it towards the D. It's wriggling around, but it is going to be a Russian ball.
Yeah, good defending by the Russian captain there, very calm under pressure.
Wonderful noise, some early chants from the home supporters. I hear the ticket sales for tomorrow are outstanding, which is great. And there'll be plenty of supporters from other parts all the way around Europe. Good link-up play this, Kornilov trying to get it in, back into the D.
Yeah, Scotland lucky to get away with that. Bit of a careless pass by Marshall there, presenting a really good opportunity for the attack. Scotland just need to take a couple of deep breaths, get their composure, and find their way into this game.
5 minutes played. Yeah, fast start, but no real chances yet. He's just joining us. Riddle heading down towards Alforsyth for the way it goes, and Mogilov knew just to leave it himself.
Yeah, that looks like a player of quite a bit of experience here to have that presence of mind to just to let that go.
Yeah, Loganov is 29, 119th cap today.
Yeah, you could see that in this play there. Not a bad start by Scotland. It's always good just to not concede, settle into the game, and hopefully towards the end of the quarter we'll see them become a wee bit more of an attacking threat. Again, the Russians employing a similar tactic to the Scots, sitting very deep, so both teams have done their homework and are kind of negating each other as we speak.
Grasic. Nikolai Komarov just trying to keep Grasic at bay, back with Marshall. Bouncing around, but it falls back kindly. There's Bremner for Marshall. It's hammer time from Marshall, is it? We'll do that a few times, I'm sure, during the course of the game. Up high by Komarov. Excellent control that was from Michael Bremner. Atkins. Marshall. Heavy space opening up here. Fraser had to watch though. Grasic couldn't get it back.
Yeah, a wee bit unfortunate. That was quite a nice build up by Scotland. Just a bit of a heavy touch here in the midfield, gifting possession back to the Russians. Now they attack. Great running by Skipperski there. Just eluding them, unfortunately. Lovely pass through the middle.
One of a clutch of players that are fairly new into the Russian side. Only his 13th cap for the 26-year-old.
Yeah, both teams have been quite direct in their attacks, probably that being a negative. Maybe need to go on the outsides a bit more often just to break through. maybe pushing a wee bit too much too early.
Atkins with the free hit. David Forsyth and looking for Morton. Couldn't keep it under his stick. Russia rattling through the rolling subs. That's a big amount of space, but again, in fact, Zamolitinov couldn't keep hold of it.
Yeah, the Russians have found quite a bit of space up there, so just Scotland need to be on guard. Just tighten up, make sure they've got a defender within proximity to just put a bit of pressure on the pickup, as they did there. Yeah, clever dummy by Grassic, but Riddle just stepped too slow to pick that one up.
Logan off to Skapersky. Russia will have the ball here. Skapersky just jaunting up to take it.
Great steal by Morton onto Forsyth, who we've not seen much of.
Meyerov losing the ball. McIntyre goes wide with its initial plan, but Bain forward back to McIntyre.
Yeah, good patience there. The attack was definitely over by that point, so good to rebuild.
Marshall to David Forsyth. Anderson.
Russia almost sitting in a quarter court here, just the number 13 sitting high, so very, very defensive. Scotland just have to be patient, use the width and certainly use the height in the final quarter.
Anderson down. Marshall. Whoa, 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 whoa. And just about dealt with by Zamolitinov. Galway tried to help out on its way for Kyrone. Will come back for Scotland.
Yeah, umpire just judging that was just a bit too high, giving the Scotland players an unfair disadvantage there.
Well, the night slipped through here for Alan Forsyth. And we're too frustrated. I think Kenny Bain has ever using his emotion on the field, but Alan Forsyth in a tough spot. But here come Russia now. Thought ball was looking for Kyrone making the run.
Yeah, I think if Alan Forsyth was to have that chance over again, he would probably try to get a wee bit of 3D skill ball in there and try to play for the foot, try and upgrade to a penalty corner. But he's so used to getting shots away that he can't have it all the time. Better from Scotland though. Russia seems to be sitting quite deep now and inviting the play upon them. Yeah, great tackle there by Gulabev, just setting up that attack.
Just over 3 minutes left of the first quarter. Still 0-0. I wouldn't say it's been cagey, but it's been plenty of possession backwards and forwards from both sides, but nothing too concrete as of yet.
Yeah, I would agree. Both teams are certainly trying to play hockey. Just attacks seem to be petering out before we get to the exciting part of the pitch in the final quarter and in the D. But I think as the game goes on and the fatigue sets in, it'll open up quite a bit. Just here, Coach Forsyth urging his players just to keep it simple, keep lots of width and to maintain their intensity. The three basic things that if they do, they've got a very good chance of being competitive.
Swiss, no, the Russians should say, have it here, and here's Plazetsky getting in towards the circle. Oh, and it's maybe a think about a decision from the umpires. I think one or two Russians were looking for a penalty corner, but it's went out the other way.
Yeah, I think the Russians were appealing for a foot. It wasn't overly obvious from where we are.
Up the other side, they're trying to make a break for Scotland. Cosgrove stopped in his tracks.
Yeah, well played by Skafersky there, just nice and calm, playing it out to the right, opening up the pitch. He looks like quite a confident player at the back there for the Russians.
It's a little bit dilly-dally, but Grasek manages to run away with it. Not for long. Zamlutnov looking to get it back for Russia. Here's Kenny Bainfield for Scotland. Gets away by Loganov. Gavin Byers just runs away from him. Nikolai Komarov stretching out a bit in these last couple of minutes.
Yeah, the game's suddenly become very, very open. Good chances for both sides in the last minute. Scotland unlucky, they're just overpassing at the last, that important point. I think Russia now just getting their breath back after a frenetic period there.
So Russia in the world rankings are 21. They were 22nd actually earlier in the year, so moved up one in the rankings over the course of the year. Scotland in 23rd spot, sandwiched in between Austria and the Czech Republic, who were 28th this time last year, so it shows how good a year they've had. Wales were 32nd and got promoted into the EuroHockey one, and they were up 5 or 6 places from the year previous as well, so a bit of a change in the guard from some of these sides in the second tier. Scotland looking to get into the top tier for the first time since 2005, and they were in the top tier in Leipzig. End of the first quarter, no goals between Scotland and Russia, as both players head off for a couple of minutes break. We have a little reflection on what we've seen so far. No real chances as such, but good open expansive stuff, but nothing really in the final third or in the Ds.
No, the ball hasn't quite broken for either team in the final quarter. Russia maybe just not far off it in the last couple of minutes there, appealing for the foot, but other than that, Alan Forsyth had a good bit of ball in the D, but both teams' intensity's good, chances not quite.
Well done to the background team. We found one or two moments from the first period in terms of
that was an
anything real notable.
Yeah, but that could have gone, that could have come off the keeper's pads for one of the strikers, so that could have been a chance from nothing.
One or two long passes that if the Russians got hold of and then behind, you would mention about the space, certainly down that right side seems to be a bit of space.
I think most of the attacks have been come to an end because the marking's been so tight by both teams. It just puts that added pressure on the pick-up, doesn't allow them to get their heads up.
So that's some of the action we've seen. As say, nothing real concrete as yet, but a lot of these sorts of games where there isn't too many chances in front of goal, usually it's very tight, tense, but it hasn't really felt too tense. It's just been a lot of passing around, but in the middle of the field. So the team talks coming to an end. Still a few seconds left of this 2-minute break, and Scotland getting ready to get us going for the second quarter here. Rain holding off at the moment. It has been a blustery day, rather grey in Glasgow, about 15-16 degrees. But it's felt a lot cooler than that, but rain holding off for now as the second quarter is underway in this semi-final.
That was a very positive start by Scotland. Bit of a set play off the pushback there with 3 players on the right hand side. Unfortunately not quite pulling it off on this occasion, but good intent.
Now ball into the D, Alan Forsyth looking to turn, blocking from Nikitin. And now there could be a swarm, a Russian swarm forward. 3-4 making the run. Kai Rulin furthest forward here, looking to take it off Litzetsky, but the ball runs away by the baseline. Here's the Scotland moment.
Yeah, great defending there by the Russian centre back. Really brave, snuffing out Forsyth's early effort. Been very impressed by Proskuriakov with the white headband on. He's been a live wire so far and very, very effective on the ball.
Goodness me, that bounced up there off Loganov. Was it dangerous?
I think Alan Forsyth having to evade the ball would suggest that it was dangerous. If he'd stood still and it hit him, he certainly would have got the penalty corner.
Whisker away from taking off his nose, but umpire said play on.
We'll give the umpire the benefit of the doubt there.
In towards Alan Forsyth. Morton looking to wriggle. Away it comes though.
Outstanding again by Puskarikov. Wonderful 3D skills, looks totally at ease on the ball. I think Scotland are going to have to try and nullify him quickly if they want to regain some control.
I'll say anyone watching it's not familiar with talking about 3D skills, use the ball, just lifting it and very skillfully done.
Bringing it off the ground. Just making it hard for your opponent.
Dicey. Morton wins it back for Scotland. Here's Jamie Wong. Riddle. Alan Forsyth with a flick. Oh, and he's won it back here, Alan Forsyth. Dribble, dribble, dribble. And Jamie Wong, it's high in the air, but dangerous and high. Penalty corner. Scotland have a chance here.
Yeah, good play by Forsyth, throwing it back to Jamie Wong. Jamie attempts a flick. Good defending by the Russians, just popping the ball up into the air. Umpire has to blow early for fear of people coming in swinging at head height and then causing danger, so whilst it wasn't necessarily going to land anywhere particularly dangerous, that's definitely the correct decision and a wonderful opportunity for Scotland. It always amazes me when opposition teams identify a threat like Alan Forsyth but still can't keep him off the ball. That just shows the quality of the player, that he's able to create space for himself despite the fact he's a marked man.
Bain in there, as is Alan Forsyth on the side, but could be Atkins. Shane about, and that will end that move. And Duncan Riddle's first penalty corner injection doesn't really come to very much as Puskarikov with support very quickly from Golubev. This would be a classic counter, but it just dribbles away. That's quick though.
That's 2 or 3 attacks that Russia have had where they've actually missed traps in the kind of final pass, which will disappoint them. But going back to that broken down penalty corner, I thought the Scotland player maybe might have been Atkins lucky not to get a card, because Russia were on the counter even sooner and it looked like a bit of a cynical foul. Certainly quite a hard whistle blow, so I think he can think himself lucky that he didn't spend 2 minutes reflecting on that tackle, albeit quite a clever one. But umpire again, maybe just let the game settle a bit.
Zamlozanov with a quick free hit. Puskarikov, that was poor that time, and space and taken by Riddle who left it. Now Morton with space to run forward. Dragged to the edge of the D. Puskarikov there once more to nick it and find a teammate. Kornilov mazing around. Puskarikov.
Puskarikov is everywhere. It's as if there's 2 of him. The pitch, he's on the left, the right, the middle. He seems to be the heartbeat to this Russian team. And hasn't spent a lot of time in the subs bench either. They seem to be really giving him quite a big shift at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if his legs can maintain that standard and intensity. Game much more open though. I think Scotland got the upper hand so far in this quarter.
Forsyth couldn't keep that in, but came off the Russian player. the stick, so still with Scotland. 5 minutes played in the second quarter still. Not too many chances of note. Scotland had one or two little moments. It's very patient Marshall for Atkins once more.
I think the most obvious thing that's changed in the Scotland setup is they've really stretched the width now. They weren't quite as wide as they could have been in the first quarter, and they're causing the Russian zone defence a whole lot of problems now.
Almost helped onto Alan Forsyth from Brother David. And from Fraser, easily cleared, and now Kai Rulin for Russia. Last bit of action for a while. Is he going for a quick rest?
Yeah, Laptev finding a lot of space here with that easy pass out to Komarov.
Yeah, he just came on there for Kai Rulin.
But again, quite easily dealt with by Scotland. Russia have been disappointing in the final quarter.
Skipersky spotted in space. Nikitin launched and Komarov held on his way, but no one in red.
Yeah, Nikitin's got a very good fast and powerful rangy pass, but it seems that his Russian teammates are just struggling at the moment to get their stick in the end of them. But a big threat for Russia. They can cover the 50-60 yards in a split second, so Scotland will need to be wary of that.
Anderson, Morton, Bain. Lovely play, can they clear it, Russia? Umpire says it's a Russian ball.
That was a nice interplay with the Scottish boys, 3 or 4 passes, lots of giving the ball running. It's probably the best fluent move we've seen by either side. But again, good defence. Defence seems to be ruling at the moment. Now Nikitin will be looking to try and pump this through the Scottish forward line or spread it about, so Scotland will be wary and will hold tight.
Forsyth couldn't keep holding. Here's maybe another attack, an attempted attack. Kuriev, that didn't last too long. Laptev, I should say, rather. Scrappy in the middle, taken initially by Anderson. Scotland did get the free hit, and McIntyre spotted. Bain, oh, whistles by Kenny Bain, closest Scotland have came.
Yeah, Gordon McIntyre, lovely pass into Bain. Bain does the right thing, he hits hard and low, allowing Alan Forsyth to slide in, but unfortunately just millimetres away. A fantastic opportunity though, and Scotland are really pushing now for this opening goal. Yet again, Russia, big rangy pass, just not quite making those pickups. A couple of warnings for Scotland now, they need to get tighter on their marking.
Yeah, Pavel Pliszecki up there, the 31-year-old, actually scored in the 2015 EuroHockey when they were in the top division, scored against England, but it was a 10-1 defeat, but scored in the top tier tournament. Could Russia be back playing likes of England in a couple of years' time, this competition, or will it be Scotland? Grasic for Alan Forsyth. Kenny Bain in the middle. And clamouring all over the place, but the umpire is against Scotland. They're going to just stop for a minute because the Russian player down.
It'll be interesting to see the replay, what's happened here and what the umpire interpretation is. He may have adjudged that Gordon McIntyre has come in and just taken the defender out.
Zamolitinov.
I think the Scottish boys thought that could have been a third man instruction in their favour, but the umpire's seen that differently, so they just need to go on to the game and win another.
Bit of a 6 and 2-3 decision either way, it could have went either way.
Yeah, hard for the umpire, a kind of unusual occurrence, foul.
Marshall did well again to get in the way. Forwards, Morton, it will come to him. Parks through the middle. And here's Fraser just going to run away with the ball. Nice idea, nice break. Just seemed to pick up speed. It was like he put fast forward on that, just seemed to roll away at pace.
Bulgaria costed quite a quiet 5 minutes, and more telling in that is the fact that Russia have been fairly not really been attacking too often, so it just shows the importance of him in terms of their attacking intent. Maybe Scotland have nullified his presence a wee bit, maybe that's the difference, and if so, I would urge them to keep that going in terms of their own play. Russia though look fairly comfortable, not in too much of a rush, and probably sticking to their game plan.
Space and positioning found here. Zamolizanov tried to go left to find Golubev. Do have the free hit.
Yeah, again a really good attacking run, but just lacking in the final pass, which is becoming a recurring theme.
Golubev in for Laptev. And that's high and away. Not really close to the target. A little gap opened up for Russia. Tim Atkins who plays with Redden. Al Forsyth on a run. Again, just can't quite find a little space or a pass. Now break for Kai Rulin. Kozetsky in the middle. Kai Rulin threading it through and hammered it with some velocity from Zamolizanov. Too much really for anyone to do anything about.
Yeah, a couple of good attacks by Russia in the last couple of minutes, so just an early warning sign for the Scottish team. They've had probably the best of the last 10 minutes, but Russia now coming into their own, so just need to change their mindset, maybe just tighten up a bit and steady the ship.
Bounced up off the leg and the officials agreed. Kai Rulin with the ball here. Support in the middle, but can't quite find that space again. Just closed it down very quickly and Scotland get it back.
Yeah, that must be the 4th or 5th chance that Russia have had down this right hand side, so Scotland need to tighten up there because they're not going to keep on squandering these chances. Well, an obvious ploy I would say by the Russian team, maybe identifying the left side of the pitch has been a wee bit weaker in the Scottish defence, and traditionally the right hand side is the strongest attacking point.
Atkins. Have another go at that. Lozana just softening out a bit of argy-bargy. It's like it's talking like it's a football game in the box. It looks a bit like that, but a little telling off. And it goes into the D. It's a penalty corner. 2 minutes to half time.
Yeah, very scrappy by the Russian defence there. It was a good run, driving the ball in, and then defender just fires it off his own player, which I'm sure will be talked about after the game if this leads to a goal. Well done by the umpire. He tried to let the play develop, see if there's any opportunities came after the foul, and they didn't, so played a good bit of advantage. Second chance for Scotland to score from the set play, so we'll see if they come up with a different routine here.
Shame for Alexei Myrov, and they got a sore one to boot. Could be sore for Russia on the scoreboard if Scotland were to capitalise. Gavin Myers cross. Ejection time here. Kenny Bain with for the net. 2 minutes to half time. Scotland have the lead, a crucial lead.
Yeah, very nice flip by Kenny, top right. You see the pull out by Gavin Myers. Nice and accurate, fast. And then a wonderful finish by Kenny, one of the first high flicks Scotland have employed this tournament. Don't think the Russians were expecting that if they looked at the video footage, so fantastic opener. And I think deserved, certainly based on this quarter of hockey. I'm delighted to see Scotland do that. They'd employed low flicks in the earlier games. I think the other opposition teams would have been very wary of that and would have set up their defence accordingly, so that probably came as a bit of a surprise for the Russian lineman and certainly the goalkeeper.
Kenny Bain, who scored against Portugal also in the game against France. Trademark arms out celebration in front of the crowd. Scotland have the lead in this semi-final. I don't want to downplay the final tomorrow if you get through to the final, but this game is just as big, if not bigger, because it seals the promotion, and it is the home side, the home team here, the host nation, that have the lead. But Russia still have time, and Meyerov looking to speed things up and try and get a quick response. Could be that sort of nervy time to try and defend the lead.
Yeah, it's just a couple of crossfield balls that Sikorsky's tried that haven't quite come off, so Scotland will be happy for him to continue doing them. Just basics, letting the Russians down at the most important times.
Zalutinov, skipped by Riddle, came off body part. Russian free hit. Laptev, advantage there. Off the keeper Alexander.
Yeah, Zamutinov seems to be quite a handful. Very good 3D skills, really quick hands, causing a bit of problem for the Scottish defenders.
Wriggling in Kai Rulin.
Great response for the Russians. Quite often that setback can cause the team to crumble, but far from it.
Nikitin thought about hammering in. Laptev out wide. There's 10 seconds left on the clock, so they'll have to be quick here, Russia, to get something in the day. And Scotland have pinched that to Alan Forsyth. Half time in Glasgow and the EuroHockey Championship 2 semi-final. It is Scotland who have the lead thanks to Kenny Bain. If it was to stay like this, Scotland would be promoted into the top tier of EuroHockey Championship for the first time since 2005. Let's look back at the goal from Kenny Bain, Alan. Right at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, in a really tight game. The corner came from nothing, just an error by the Russians. Really good pull out by Gavin Byers, nice stop by Nicky Parks, and then a rocket top corner. Not a lot the lineman could do. The keeper, probably not a lot he could do either. Certainly one for the Kenny Bain collector's item in terms of penalty corner strikes. And if you look at the postman, he's down low, he's expecting a low flick, if anything. Scotland have pulled an ace out of the cards here.
And overall, Scotland maybe through the second quarter just shading the deserving of a lead.
I would say so. Scotland seemed a wee bit more confident in their pickups in the final quarter. There's a lot more build-up, very confident around the back, spreading it left and right, whereas the Russians tended to go for a big crash ball through the middle and were just failing in the pickups. I think Russia had a lot of territory in the final quarter, but just not quite the same amount of chances that Scotland created.
Okay, thanks for the moment, Alan. We'll be back in a few minutes' time ahead of the third quarter, but it's a good looking scoreline at the moment if you're a Scottish supporter. Half time thanks to Kenny Bain's goal. It's Scotland 1, Russia 0. Welcome back to the National Hockey Centre here in Glasgow. We've got the third quarter on the way in about 40 seconds time in this EuroHockey Championship 2 semi-final. The winner will be promoted to the top tier, and it is 1-0 to Scotland. Well, you may well have seen just at the half-time break there some of the entertainment. We had the Scotland women's hockey team on the field with a few youngsters having a few fun and games. Great to see that, and a lot of young people here watching this game.
Oh, it's wonderful. The moments like these for Scotland, for the city of Glasgow, are excellent in terms of encouraging young players to have a hit with some of their heroines, role models. Scotland women obviously off to Amsterdam next week, so great to see them supporting the event and giving youngsters a chance to go onto the pitch and have a knockabout.
Yeah, obviously it was a brilliant time. Feels like it was still yesterday with the beating the 29th minute right at the end, and he's there involved again, looking to maybe nip it back, and came through. Grasic trying to get there. Scotland looking for a penalty corner, but away it goes.
Yeah, that's a couple of decisions in the game so far when the ball's been lifted, and I think Scotland feel a wee bit aggrieved that they didn't get the penalty corner there. A couple of players having to take evasive action, but the Russians are getting on with it nonetheless. Gulabev
bounces up with him. Still with Russia, free hit, and switch to the other side. Mayarov taking it tight, right on the baseline. Oh, it's on the line. Was there initially, and well, penalty corner signalled the end.
Keeper's pads, and he then has to protect the goalkeeper to prevent the Russian players coming in and swinging at him. So whilst the keeper didn't necessarily mean to get the ball lodged under his pads, the umpire again is looking out for the player's safety there and was right to award the penalty corner. An early warning sign for the Scottish defence.
Golubev with the injection. Maciekowski there, as is nicotine. Is Matkowski. It's bouncing off a Russian player in the middle of that, and that wasn't maybe quite in the plan. It seemed to be a bit cumbersome.
It was actually a terrific save by the Russian defender off his own flick, and then unfortunately Slotikov is obstructed, the Scottish defenders coming through.
Zamotnov in the way in the D, so Russia chance over.
Again, just the finishing touches just missing at the moment, but that they'll come good. So Scotland just have to maintain their focus and their intensity in defence.
Marshall, Anderson for Scotland. Grasic.
It's really great watching McIntyre and Grasic, just two players that make the game look really easy. So for any young players watching, they tend to get very good outcomes, don't take a lot of risk, just they survey their options and make really good decisions most of the time. So good to see real linchpins on the Scottish side. Quite often they're assumed to be quiet players, but they're far from it. They're very much orchestrating things.
Yeah, McIntyre, it's his 89th cap, 84 of them with Scotland, 27-year-old, one of the few that play for Reading. And Grasic got his 100th Scotland cap the other night on Wednesday, and he's got 20 for GB as well, now 101 for Scotland.
Yeah, and two players that could have had more caps.
Kornilov and slipped in behind, but the keeper there, Alexander, got it away. If it was slightly more to the left, it might well have caused more problems. Maciekowski deep in his own half, crossed by the captain, who is Yaroslav Loganov. And Scotland in the middle of the park have stolen it through Lee Morton. Being back to Marshall. Grasic.
Yeah, good patience by Scotland there. They had a chance to go forward, but just tried to build the shape.
Cursed that one, I think. The patience ran out. Marshall's pass was wayward.
Yeah, that's frustrating for Coach Derek's side, because they got themselves into really good shape, really good structure, and then a bit of a wayward pass, just a slight miscommunication between the left wing and Willie Marshall at the back.
Derek Forsyth, head coach of Scotland. involved with the GB women as well. Also with Clydesdale Western domestically. Missed the cup final as well as the European playoffs at the end of the season because he was busy with GB Malaysia. David Forsyth, long. Cosgrove going to hang around to see if he can wriggle away. Golubev tried to help out. Tapping in, he started to try and harry the Russian defenders. He was there in the end. And
really good defensive pressure winning the ball back, which seems to have been the foundation for Scotland's tournament so far. Massive goal for Scotland now, a 2-goal cushion. Russia are going to have to change something.
I think Simeon Matiakovsky might be a bit disappointed with how he defended that on the line. But Cosgrove with number 2, 22-year-old, it's his 10th cap for Scotland tonight, and probably the biggest moment for him in a Scotland jersey. It could well be, certainly become the end of the game. Here's Kuriev though for Russia, bounces off Kornilov.
Duncan Riddle just taking a sore one there, I think it hit his arm, ball maybe a wee bit high.
Bobbled up of both players, and on the floor is Riddle.
Yeah, Cosgrove's been a really great addition to the Scotland squad. He came over to Dundee for university 4 or 5 years ago and has then since made his way into Derek Forsyth's plans and has proven himself a very capable international.
And it shows crucially that there's still a chance here for you domestically. I know most players tend to move away, try and find clubs in England, abroad, but a couple of 3 there that do still stay in Scotland.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 players in the squad are domestically based, so that's really important for the progress and growth of the game. Keeps the standards of all the other teams up. Duncan Riddle just succumbing to that injury, unfortunately. He's been hit on the elbow, which is always a sore one. Quite a few nerves in there.
One of those home base players with Grange. Here's Skapersky in, and a ball. Loganov and ball through here. Kornilov. Switchkovsky trying to get it back, but Russia, they do get it back actually. Kornilov vulnerable against Scotland, got the second but don't want to try and concede. Russia desperate to get this deficit back down quickly. Golubev heading into the circle, and off on the way out it went.
It must fill the Scottish defence with so much confidence when they've got a player in Tom Alexander's just had such a fantastic tournament, and even there that's maybe the first action he's had, but he made that save look straightforward, and I think that just sums up how well he's playing at the moment.
Yeah, I think we were discussing before this game off here that this tournament really has been a tournament of wonderful goals at times. From Portugal had a couple in there, and 1 or 2 others throughout the course of the week, and also 2 or 3 really stellar goalkeeping performances. A nice little flick back, but the move comes to the end. Bremner trying to keep hold. It has been a wonderful week of hockey. There's still 4 games tomorrow. We've got the 2 games in the lower half of the sides that are trying to battle against relegation. Portugal have been relegated from the 2nd tier. They're heading back to the 3rd tier. And then it's a 3-way fight. One of those 3 teams, Ukraine, Czech Republic, Switzerland, who will go down. Then we'll have the 3rd, 4th playoff, which Scotland and Russia hopefully won't be looking to be involved with at the moment. It will be Russia. It would be up against France. The shock of the day in the week really is how they will not be getting promoted. And then afterwards there is the final tomorrow at 4:30, and both sides guarantee promotion, so they've got a bit of pressure off, but they do have a lovely trophy which I have seen. It is rather lovely and shiny, and it will be given to the winner in the presentation after. So if you've got nothing much on, you can get along if you can, or watch the stream. So that's your 24 hours pretty much covered. Plenty of hockey.
Yeah, Russia have been a bit disappointing in this quarter. Not responded very well to the second goal. Their key players aren't on the ball as much as we saw them in the first quarter. There's Puskirikov again making pretty basic errors.
Fraser in towards Alan Forsyth. Oh, it's behind everyone. So that was making a run into the D. Zalutinov away. Here's Mayarov. And just skips away by.
Yeah, it looks like the Russians are maybe putting a wee bit more pressure on the Scottish defence, putting two men really high up, so Scotland will need to change their system, maybe to adapt to that. But it'll give them more opportunities to counter as we're doing at the moment.
Right off through the left, just left, good experience. We've not touched on it from Yaroslav Loganov. That is flung in, but doesn't come to anything either for Grasic.
I think Scotland will be quite content at breakneck attacks, counter-attacking, and just then getting their team back in a nice solid defensive shape. Ultimately, if they do not concede, they go through to the European A division, so that will be their main focus, defence.
Rattles off Jamie Wong's stick, just to come backwards and not coming together, but Scotland have the free hit. Less than 5 minutes left now in this third quarter. Kenny Bean with the opener just before half time. Ben Cosgrove getting the second. Scotland in a good position at the moment for promotion to the first division. Pass for Kenny Bean from Morton. Wonderful run forward. This is from Parks. And no one there to receive the ball, which was in good space.
Yeah, it was a nice move. Unfortunately, he just put it slightly behind Cosgrove, who committed to the ground for the deflection. Just a slight timing issue there, but promising from Scotland nonetheless. I think both teams looking a wee bit fatigued at the moment. Pace just settling down a bit, which Scotland don't want to happen. They need to keep their intensity and make Russia do all the running.
Nikitin. Turn from Zamalutinov. Still wriggling. By. Couldn't find Plazetsky. On his knees and everything, trying to wriggle that.
Scotland have given them really a metre on the D, so really good tight marking. If you continue that, it's going to be very difficult for the Russians to break them down.
Lay of them from Cosgrove to Fraser. Instant off the ball. And there's going to be maybe a bit of bother here, certainly. An injury.
It looks like it might be Skapersky holding his head in the Russian D. From that number, no, it's number 15. Nikitin, the big man.
Might well just been an accident then. Both players kind of shuggled around and back up. Lee Morton on the edge of the D. Free hit and looking for an option. Fraser there, also Bremner. Yeah, Scotland will spread this nice and wide just to try and split the Russian defence in a couple of phases. That graphic there is wrong, incidentally. Nikitin is the one that's been green carded, so he was green carded in that incident, but it's not Plazetsky that says there. It is 50 Nikitin that's down below us on the bench. So credit to the umpires for having been able to see that incident in real time. That was certainly missed by us, but well officiated. Tchaikovsky, that's off Fraser and nearly towards Unayan. Thankfully just below us. Yeah, my playing instincts come in there. I thought we were going to get hit there, so apologies to anyone listening. Watched remaining 2 minutes of the quarter without conceding and maybe even steal a third goal, which I would say would put the tie beyond Russia at this stage. David Forsyth. Bremner. Switch to Morton. Parks, it's just a little bit lost in transit the ball. Is Russia come away with it? An advantage there. Tchaikovsky positions for the free hit. Looking for just one chance, one little opening to get themselves back in it, Russia. Unfortunately for them, they've probably got their biggest attacking weapon, Nikitin, in terms of his big passes off in the suspension, so that's going to limit their options somewhat. Morton, McIntyre to the left. keep it down there. McIntyre, Allen Forsyth. Long corner. Atkins, Wong, Morton tried to get it in his path. And joyriding on the baseline. Nickerton back on. Roll it. Stolen and penalty corner given. Scotland can get the advantage from that through Fraser, so they've got a penalty corner in the final 30 seconds. Quarter.
I think some big decisions to make to try and get the interesting to see if Bain opt for the high flick again. In fact, he is currently off, so it's going to have to be either Atkins or Forsyth.
Yeah, we've not seen anything from Alan Forsyth yet, so it's going to be Alan Forsyth. It's off the keeper, and it's number 3. And Bremner was in behind. Callie Fraser taking a lot of applause. A team goal as they get 3-0. So Alan Forsyth in, and then Fraser just to nod in, tap in with the stick. And as I say, great that they all followed up there.
Yeah, very, very good. Keeper's made a really good save, and then one, I think it's fine. Russian keeper will feel a bit let down by his linemen.
So 3-0 Scotland in this pretty. After really the first 7 or 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the first quarter, Scotland have lost it in terms of chances, and at the end of the third quarter, it is 3-0 thanks to Bain, Cosgrove and Fraser in this third quarter. It is nearly there. The Scots could be heading back into the first division. Let's look at the goals from this quarter.
Yeah, this is wonderful wing play by Gavin Byers, using his pace. Good 1-2 with Ben Cosgrove. The shot coming off and poor defending. Falling to Cosgrove again. Lovely neat finish for that vital second.
And there's the great angle from behind the goal. Lovely little spin in there, and then eventually just fell kindly.
Made that look easy, but ultimately finishing is one of his difficult skills. So well done to Cosgrove for having the peace of mind.
Penalty corner goal, flicked up and put in by Cammy Fraser.
Yeah, looking at that again, the height looked good off Forsyth's hit. Keeper unfortunate, just popping it up in the air and brilliantly followed in by Fraser from range with a finish just above his head.
Seen a few of those goals this week, certainly 2 or 3 of those acrobatic stretches, and great stuff from Fraser, the 28-year-old. One of those at his home base plays for Grange. 3-0, and Russia takes something extraordinary from them to come back. And I know it was something we were talking about earlier in the week in our coverage. I think it was with Stephen Percy actually. Australians are based in the UK that coach Russia. The Russians are obviously home based, so they must have a limited meet-up schedule, I guess, in between, I guess tournaments is about the only time they'll meet.
Yeah, I think even if you didn't know that information, looking at the two sides, Scotland seem to have played with really good structure and very well organised. The Russians seem a wee bit less structured and relying on individuals that wee bit more, whereas Scotland have really put in a great team effort, squad effort. I'm very impressed by Scotland today. It's probably the best I've seen them play throughout the tournament, so they're peaking at the right time. I think this will be an intriguing final quarter. Russia really have to go for it.
It could well be a sensational period in a couple of years in the top tier with the home nations in there in Ireland. Russia might still have a little glimpse of something to say. Zalatinov wriggles and away it goes.
Without getting too carried away, looking at the age profile of the Scotland squad, everyone in that squad got a good couple of years in them. So kind of coming into the kind of peak playing potential, so exciting times in the next couple of years for the Scotland squad. Cosgrove picking up a green card for an infringement in the D.
Yep, quick chat with the Spanish umpire for Lozana. So a couple minutes off for the second goal scorer.
Glasgow seems a wee bit bewildered, not quite sure what that card was for.
Certainly there was a bit of a chat going on in the day, but anyway, Scotland are going to be down to 10 for just under a couple of minutes now. It looked threatening early in the first quarter that with the physicality it might be a little bit more tasty in terms of cards, but kind of settled down. I think especially when Scotland scored, the Russian fight hasn't really been there in great abundance, and maybe a little short bursts. We'll try here.
I think other than the deflection in the third quarter, it's the only actual clear-cut chance that Russia have created, which is, by an international standard, really disappointing.
Sails out of the concourse. Golubev, the deflection, but one corner. Nikitin now rattles off Alan Forsyth. Zetsgate's helped on its way and smothered by the keeper Alexander. It was Zetsgate coming in with the effort.
Unfortunately, the Russians, chasing a 3-goal deficit with 12 minutes to play, are resorting to the crash ball tactic, and as of yet Scotland have been a match to it. I think they need to be a wee bit more patient. You can score goals very quickly in hockey, they just need to get some shape, get some structure, play on the outside and see what that produces.
Myrov, Nikitin, flung out by Loganov, Golubev off Bremner. Koskov back on from his 2-minute green card. This one's going to go long. Loganov had to watch Alan Forsyth behind. Alan Forsyth has taken it. Grasic. Alan Forsyth. Grasic again. Sticks coming in. Grasic quickly going. Grasic. Alan Forsyth with the turn, and he scores another one. And Scotland are heading to the top division for sure now for the first time since 2005.
Yes. Looking at the finish, we all talk about the goal scorer, but it's the defensive intensity that Scotland have. They lose the ball, they win it back, and then straight into attack. Great play by Grasic, clearing up the feet 5, finds Forsyth, 1-2 with the keeper, and a brilliant finish. It's so easy to credit the goal scorer. Forsyth also is fantastic in front of the goal, but for me the most impressive thing about this Scotland squad is how quickly they win the ball back when they lose it. They don't give their opponents any time in the ball, and that is the end result. Hard work equals goals.
Alan Forsyth though will take a lot of credit in terms of just the goals he scores for Scotland. Pelty corners, yes, but just when he's in the right spot as well. During the magnificent run to the World League, Alan Forsyth scored 15 goals, almost double than the next second place, which was Kenny Bain, who did not too bad across the World League 1, 2, 3, who got 8. And I think there's much chat about Alan Forsyth. Maybe never had quite the best semi-finals because just the step up, and it's a big change. But on the goals again here, Russia looking to try and nick one back. They've got a penalty corner though, 11 minutes left in the game. Nikolai Komarov in the middle of that, celebrating, or just maybe feel like they've got something at last Russia to maybe try and get a goal on the board. What's going on here? Jamie Wong being told to hurry up and get ready. He went way back, was heading back to the halfway line.
So it's looking like either Nikitin or Matovsky off the top. A double castle and some runners on the right. So
Komarov to inject. It is Matiakovsky, and they have got one back. 11 minutes left. Seems a big job. You can't score goals quick in hockey, but it is a goal back for Russia.
I think Scotland and coach Derek Forsyth were quite disappointed. Fairly straightforward. Keeper again, yeah, he'll be disappointed as well. be a fairly straightforward save to his right hand side, but just in terms of the pressure Scotland have had, hopefully, well, I would suggest just consolation for the Russians, but you never know. 11 minutes, plenty of time.
So, 11 minutes left, 4-1 Scotland. Russia have a touch of a lifeline from Simon Matkovsky. First goal in this EuroHockey Championship 2 this week for Matkovsky for Russia. But he may well be in vain. And here he is in a duel with Cosgrove. Cosgrove looking to get away. He leaves it. Umpire's not ready. Marshall for Jamie Wong. Whistles by Gavin Byers and away out.
I think it's just important here that Scotland just take the sting out of the game. Just consolidate for a couple of minutes, regain the composure, and effectively snub the Russian attacks. Because a second goal for Russia here would really give the momentum to them with just under 10 minutes to play. Scotland have given a lot so far physically in the game, so there will be a bit of fatigue setting in, so if they can maintain the intensity, they stand a really good chance of seeing this out. Good response by Russia though.
Matkovsky. Loganov.
Just a mistrap there by Krunilov, disappointing. They really can't afford to be making too many more mistakes as they desperately look to chase and reduce this 3-goal deficit.
From Switchkovsky. Morton. Loganov stealing it. Laptev. Samulisnov to the right. Pinch back by Parks. Big, tall, strong frame.
Also a good sign by Scotland there. Lee Morton loses the ball, but then works really hard to help win it back. That's the intensity that they require.
Bolovev running into Marshall. Russians have the free hit. Poskaryakov faded a little bit, I think. Poskaryakov done so much in the first half. Matkovsky. Poskaryakov, maybe he'll get a say in the D. That's high and away.
Yeah, Scotland will be happy to limit the Russians to shots from the top of the shooting circle, but we'd be well advised to just tighten things up, keep the ball, run the clock down, and frustrate the Russians.
Zamlutinov winning that one back. Good luck trying to get through that brick wall. Taken by Bremner. Kenny Bain back on. Alan Forsyth in space. Taking on Spitchkovsky. Oh, just behind Bremner, and trying to slide in was Duncan Riddle.
Yeah, pass just eluding Karulin there. Lovely touch by Grasic there. Just driving the ball into 23. Probably quite content just keeping the ball, running the clock down again. No rush. And good experience here winning the foul.
Grasic nipped in, took it off him. Kenny Bain thought about sneaking that, tried to anyway, but Poskaryakov. Looks like Russia will be playing like France in the third, fourth playoff. The two sides that were relegated from the first division are going to be playing each other in a third and fourth playoff where they didn't think they would be. I think, certainly if not France, Russia may well have thought they would have been looking at winning in a semi-final berth, but it's such a competitive week. 4 or 5 teams possibly could have thought they could have got out of the group, maybe 6. But here's a turn. Kai Rulin slide in and away, and Fraser looks to dart away, but he loses out a little loose. Laptev.
Yeah, it was a wonderful sliding tackle by Michael Bremner to stop that previous chance in the D. Scotland just need to settle a bit here, a wee bit guilty of winning the ball back and panicking, and there's no need for that. They're in control of the game and need to just slow it down, try and create a big pitch and make the Russians do the running, dictate the terms of the game.
That's loose from Marshall. Kairouan! Oh, it's a great goal. It is a very good goal. 5.5 minutes left. The Scottish nerves will be there. Russia, half a chance.
Yeah, I've seen this a couple of times from Willie Marshall this tournament so far, that right hand pass, and clinically stolen back and a wonderful finish. Just to really get the jitters in the Scottish team and crowd here. I think it's important for the Scotland squad to remember that the Russians have got nothing to lose now. They're going to take these risks, and Scotland need to play to that and just slow things down and make them work harder to win the ball back, and don't gift them it as was done there. Kairouan's
second of the tournament, got the equaliser against Wales in the group stage in that comeback game. We did see France earlier take off their keeper, and it looks like they've done so here, Russia. So just going for it now. Russia, it kind of paid off to start with, and then kind of unraveled with a penalty corner, and although they got goals back at the end, so
it's a very, very early gamble. It's not unusual for goalkeepers to replace with outfield players, but with 5 minutes to go, I think other coaches may have waited until
it was about 5 minutes and France did it. They had a 2.
That must be the new in thing then.
And it goes again. It was a little risky.
But as we said, Russia have got nothing to lose now. 2 goals down, 5 minutes to play. They're as well going for the victory and risking conceding in the process.
Nicotine, the one that's been designated as the outfielder with goalkeeping privileges. Swichkovsky. Wonder this urgency from Russia. Why was this not at 1-0, 2-0? It seems to really been burst on and seen this urgency.
I think that's the brain is interfering with the psychology of it. Scotland maybe sitting a wee bit too deep now, beginning to feel a slight momentum shift, plus the Russians are buoyed. I think the game is going to be won by the brain now rather than the brawn. We just need a bit of leadership from Scotland. Experienced players got the ball to settle the younger players who may not have been in such pressure situations.
Well, Wales won earlier, 4-3 against France, kept edging in front, then got a 2-goal margin, then France pulled it back, then they got another one, and France still scored with a minute to go, and then there was a series of penalty corners, a bit of a controversial penalty corner change of mind, but Wales won 4-3. It's 4-2 here now to Scotland. It was comfortable pretty much for Scotland, maybe eye off the ball, but Kenny Bain, but just ricocheted I think off the foot.
It's amazing watching the Scotland players suddenly
He's going to go here for a card, 2 minutes.
The Russians look full of energy, now down to 10 men, so it's now 11 outfield players against 9 Scottish outfield players. Critical 2 minute period for Scotland.
Tension. Nicotine then. Launching. Turnover of possession.
Yeah, Scotland will be relieved to put that decision off the umpire. Umpire judging that the ball's too high.
Long from Marshall, but only into no man's land, and for Yaroslav Loganov. Proskariakov.
I think Marshall aware that they were down a man, just get the ball into their half, let them start their attacks again.
Spichkovsky. Komarov. Wriggling in here, getting all the way across the baseline, and
what a chance!
Komarov, big chance.
just a split second longer. If he could have lifted the ball, that would have been 4-3. But good save by Alexander there.
That goes in, but doesn't count. Doesn't get the touch required. Scotland lob long, Alan Forsyth. It needs to be stopped by Loganov, and it is. It is becoming a bit harem-scarum here. Poskaryakov, Spichkovsky, Skiperski, and the touch on its way, and a bit of a swipe in the back of that, but I don't think the umpire's seen it. But it's going to be a penalty corner anyway. 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, the umpire just penalising the Scottish player for lifting the ball again, preventing any danger coming from that. So another massive opportunity for Russia. I think the nerves really beginning to take their toll on the Scottish side.
Scottish supporters weren't nervous 10 minutes ago, but it's Russia have fought back really well late on. Nikolai Komarov with the injection. Nicotine in the bib there. It's going to come to him, and they have scored a third goal with 2 minutes to play. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, really nicely worked corner on the left runner, just sliding in the back post on reverse. Nicely slid by Nikitin. It's actually the injector moved in, so quite an old-fashioned corner, but very, very effective. Yeah,
Komarov may well just get the goal actually, because he got the touch by the look of it, so it will probably go down with him. Yes, he did get the touch. See it there on the goal camera. So 4-3, Nikolai Komarov getting it.
And crucially for Scotland, or sorry for Russia, Scotland still down to 10 men. So
yes, Kenny Bain still down there.
In terms of outfield players having taken their keeper off, so the tactic has certainly paid off so far.
Atkins for Morton. Derek Forsyth prancing around. He does that a lot, but in angst. Skiperski, that's going to go behind Loganov. Some cheers from the home crowd. Kenny Bain is at the edge of the seat like it's Christmas morning, trying to get back on.
And he's back. Scotland full strength here. Yeah, that'll be a card. Russian player not get 5 metres. That was an easy play by Chris Grassick, using his experience here, throwing the player into the foul. So Scotland now have a numerical advantage, certainly not in terms of outfield players, but in terms of players on the pitch.
Andrew Kuriev with green. Talked about green cards might have came out quicker in the game for one or two little things the way the first quarter went, but now they're starting to be thrown out a bit more. They have kind of lost the ball now. They have Komarov, Nikitin, Mayarov. Last minute here. Scotland at the moment are going up and look done and dusted. Even at 4-1. Now it's 4-3. Kai Rulin. Kai Rulin to try and get it across. Poskaryakov. Kai Rulin again. Nikitin. 30 seconds on the clock. And it's going to come again. Skiperski trying to get on it, and away it goes from Alexander. Jimmy Wong's going to take it down the corner. And that's cleared. And Russia are running out of time. Seconds left. Nikitin launched long again. And by the right post. And the clock is going to tick down. 3. You can hear the chants. The crowd know Scotland are back in the top tier of European hockey for the first time since 2005 when they were in Leipzig. By goodness though, they had to do it the Scottish way, or the hard way. They were looking so comfortable at spells, even at 4-1 they were comfortable. But Matyakowski, Pletsitsky and Komarov in the last 10 minutes put the kibosh on early celebrations. Kenny Bain got things going just before half time with a goal. Ben Kotsgrove got the second. Then Cammy Fraser and Alan Forsyth with a quick fire double within 4 minutes of each other. Made things look pretty simple. It's 4-0 then. And then it was 4-1 quite quickly through Matyakowski. But then those two late goals put the nerves on, and still one or two moments, one or two balls driven in the last 60 seconds that could have went anywhere. The first semi-final between Wales and France finished 4-3, and the Wales side were hanging on for dear life against the French. Scotland wouldn't say quite hanging on for dear life, but it was a game remarkable, and this one is finished 4-3 as well. I can't believe it. I'm just about speechless. Alan, take over please.
Nervy viewing. Only Scotland could make such an easy, what looked like such an easy victory. It looked so difficult in the end. I think if we did 2 or 3 minutes more play, we would have seen extra time, penalties. But Scotland deserved their 4-0 lead. They were the better team in the day, and I think the scoreline possibly flattered the Russians, but they got there, they fought back well. Scotland thoroughly deserved finalists, and a terrific achievement for Scottish hockey, so well done to all the backroom staff and all the players involved, and the greater squad that didn't make it here today. Terrific performance. And
what a day for British hockey. England, and obviously include Ireland, Britain and Ireland. It's going to be a fantastic top tier because we've got England and Ireland in the top tier. Wales have been promoted, a remarkable day for them. Scotland now up. What a product it's going to be if you're a home nation supporter, as well as some of the top other nations in Europe, and it's going to be a terrific tournament, and I'd like to see it now rather than 2 years time. Anyway, let's take a little bit of stock from the celebrations. Let's look back over the goals, and let's go back to just before half time when Kenny Bain opened the scoring from a penalty corner.
Yeah, a wonderful powerful flick by Kenny Bain, giving the defender on the line to keep a very little chance. And also a very important opening goal just to ease the early nerves.
And then goals came in the second and third quarter. This from Ben Cosgrove.
Yeah, terrific exchange between the two Grove Bings Hill boys. They've obviously built up a really good understanding domestically, and wonderful to see that translated onto the international scene.
Bit of a mess in there. Markowski couldn't get it away, and then as we head into the 45th minute, and Cammy Fraser from the penalty corner bounced down for him nicely.
Yeah, again, side opting for the old school hit. Decent save by the keeper. Unfortunately, the linemen have completely abandoned the line, leaving Fraser with a tap in, albeit a very difficult one to execute, but brilliantly done by the Edinburgh man.
And then in the 49th minute, this was 4-0, yes, 4-0 with 11 minutes to play. Alan Forsyth finishing.
Yeah, wonderful play by Grassick, and then a superb 1-2 by Forsyth from the keeper, and a really straightforward finish. Well, I'll say straightforward, he made it look straightforward.
So 4-0, job done. You can get the tickets when we thought about, or the holiday plans for 2017 if you're a Scottish supporter. But then a comeback. Simon Matiakowski for 4-1 a minute later after Forsyth's goal.
Yeah, again, really good flick. Scotland opting to not have two postmen running an arrow and leaving the keeper quite vulnerable. Good height, good power. Keeper will be disappointed, but they always are.
And then a bit lax here from Marshall, and that gifted really a goal for Pavel Pedzetsky.
Yeah, despite the mistake, the finish was still world class. Very little to work with. Found the top corner, so great opportunism by the striker.
And then the final goal came from Nikolai Komarov, and 4-3. And he did get the touch on Nikitin, who had the striking goal, came back in, took the injection, and then was there just to poke it in.
Yeah, again, really good corner routine by the Russians. They've done their homework. I suppose saying that the right post is maybe a bit of a weakness in the corner defence, so, but fortunately for Scotland, merely a consolation.
Extraordinary stuff. It's hard to sum up in words really what we've seen, especially in the semi-finals here. And we talked about how good it is for British, and Irish hockey, how they meet in the EuroHockey in a couple of years' time, the top tier. But tomorrow, for the Celtic nation sides, for Scotland and Wales, they're going to play each other. Some really good games between the two in the last 12 months, especially at World League. And they've got a trophy to play for. Both now know they're safe, they can relax about that. Now it's playing for the silverware and the gold medal.
Yeah, last time the two sides met at Glasgow Green, I was watching the game, and the Welsh come out with a very physical game and really bossed Scotland on that day. Scotland won't let that happen again, and I'm really confident they'll come out with a game plan to kind of combat the very abrasive style that the Welsh can bring to the game. As alluded to earlier, you say that the Welsh, Irish, English and Scots have all qualified. That may well be the first time in European history that they've all been in the A division, so a fantastic moment for British Isles hockey. But a mouth-watering prospect, and I would tip Scotland to go all the way and win the silverware in front of their home crowd.
At the other side, there is one of three. We'll go down with Portugal, Switzerland, Ukraine and Czech Republic. Ukraine and Czech Republic now have got 4 points apiece after the draw with each other, and it means that they have got to decide that out tomorrow. Ukraine have got Switzerland, which could be in paper the most difficult. Czech Republic with Portugal, who are already down. So we'll see what happens there. Then the third, fourth playoff game will be the contest between France and Russia, the two sides that were relegated into the second tier a couple of years ago, and then we'll have the final between Scotland and Wales. So just to sort of sum up, and before we wrap up, wonderful day. There's some drama to come, I think, from the bottom half of the draw, but what some stories we've seen today. Scotland up, Wales up. What can you say?
I mean, obviously the target was to get promoted. Having a home crowd is also going to be a massive advantage, but for any Scotland team at any sport to come through a tournament with 4 wins out of 4 is not far off unheard of. So credit to Derek Forsyth, his coaching staff, the squad that were here this weekend, and the squad that put in work in the months preceding the tournament. And hopefully other sports and other teams can take real confidence from this performance.
Well, Alan, it's been great to get your thoughts. I think you need to go and have a lie down now, so I'm sure you can get away off and try and reminisce this. It's been great to get your thoughts, so Alan, thank you very much indeed. Thanks very much for your company here from the National Hockey Centre in Glasgow. Matches then start tomorrow with the bottom half from 9:30 all the way through to the final, which is at 4:30. Get along if you can. Hopefully it's a better day weather-wise, but held up for this great second semi-final at least. So great action to come to conclude the EuroHockey Championship 2. Do join us if you can. If you can't make it, you can watch the coverage. But from yourself, Carl Patterson, all the team here, it's a very good evening from Glasgow.